Well, Germany's Defence Ministry says it's suspending all orders for the Army's state-of-the-art Puma armoured vehicles. The decision follows crisis talks over serious technical problems with 18 of the tanks during a recent training exercise. The vehicles were supposed to join NATO's Spearhead Response Force next year. Now the Army says it will send decades-old Marder combat vehicles instead. Germany already has around 350 Pumas, and they've made headlines for their lack of reliability. Well, Alexander Müller is the defence spokesman for the pro-business FDP group in the German parliament. That party is one of the coalition partners in the government. Welcome to you. Help us understand, if you can, what the exact problem is. There must be some quite serious technical issues if all or nearly all the Puma armoured vehicles break down at the same time or in similar fashion.
Yes, it is not nearly all. They are all 18. All 18 were out of order, we were told. But our Ministry of Defence does not yet know what exactly the reason is. Currently, those vehicles are on the way to their home location in Regen in Bavaria and will be examined. And by end of next week, they will tell us what exactly were the reasons.
The history of failures with these infantry fighting vehicles is long and predates a lot of people who's currently involved in defence. It goes back some 20 years. Whose fault is this?
This is a good question. These vehicles in the very beginning did not work very well. It was told those were children's problems, and it is high complex material built inside and very complex software modules that have to interact with each other, and those were the explanations why it was so hard. But now we have an upgrade. Those 18 devices were the newest version, the newest upgraded version, the so-called VJTF version of the Puma, and we are just trying to upgrade all our Pumas to this upgrade version that we just tested. And if all those 18 were out of order, there are a lot of question marks now behind putting money into this device again.
Many people say Vladimir Putin's Russian army has been embarrassed on the battlefield in Ukraine. Is this embarrassing for Germany as a NATO partner?
Of course, this is embarrassing, but you have to know that in a war condition, some of those systems can be overruled. I'm not sure if everything would be out of order then. I'll give you one example. If, for example, the cleansing of the exhaust gas would not work, in peace conditions, this device will be set out of work. But of course, in war conditions, we will continue working with it. And there are a lot of things that could be the case. We have to wait until we know what are the reasons, but I think in war conditions it would not be so drastic.
Yeah, I very much take your point that it's a complex explanation, but is this at least part of the reason the German Chancellor has been hesitant to provide tanks to Ukraine, because they don't work?
No, I don't know. I don't understand the Chancellor myself. The reasons he tells are not obvious to me. But this would not be a reason for not giving tanks to Ukraine, because we talked about Marder devices to give them to Ukraine. We never spoke about Puma devices to give them to Ukraine.
Do you think Germany is ready to defend itself or take part in the defence of NATO territories?
Of course we are. And what we promised to NATO and what we have to fulfill for NATO is to have 3 fighting companies ready. And we have those. We have the plan B is the Marders. You already told it in your moderation that the Marders would be our plan B. They work. They work not so full-fashioned like the Puma, who has newer technology, but the Marder is a very good armored personal carrier who still works.
And in turn, I guess I raise the question for what does this mean for Ukraine? Can Germany support Ukraine militarily at this moment?
You know, so the parties in the Bundestag struggle in this question. You have some parties who say we should deliver even tanks, even battle tanks and armored vehicles from Western production to Ukraine, and we have the Social Democrats who say no. And as long as this is the case, we will not deliver, and it depends on the proceedings in the next weeks.
Alexander Müller, German lawmaker and defence spokesman for the FDP in the Parliament. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.